Alright, hang on. Alright, go live. Just give it a couple of seconds.
Yes.
We're live.
What's up, Noel? Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Finals.
General Chit Chat and NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Obviously, we are up to Game 6, which will go back to Oracle Arena.
Yeah, back to Oracle for after the tragic 0-2 at Oracle after games 1 and 2.
Mind you, they were down a Klay Thompson and a Kevin Durant. Which,
Yeah.
you know, just when you go deep into the trash at Golden State, it's a pretty disgusting.
It's a pretty...
It's a
and
deep,
even Boogie hasn't really worked out for him.
Not really. He was kind of like, yeah, we'll pay $5 million for a guy that can
Just
maybe
have a
stretch-
crack.
Have a crack. Hey, look, he's played okay in some points, not okay in others. He's still very slow. It's just,
Yeah, and having that injury, coming back off that injury,
yeah.
you know, he's not even 100%.
No.
So you kind of like, just give it your best shot.
Yeah, and Kevon Looney's not 100%. No one's
that
100%.
fractured collarbone. And that's a big loss for them because he's a big... I don't know if he would have had that huge effect on this series like he did against Houston. He had a big series against Houston basically because he's up against PJ Tucker on the boards. Yeah. And anyone who could kind of get over Tucker, you know, Capella didn't play all that well in that series, but like Toronto have a good front court, man. Like Ibaka, Gasol's even played really well. They can all shoot. Siakam, his arms, man, just go for days. Like he'll go up at the rim. Yeah. The guy will think he'll have him there, and he just kind of twists, turns his arms, and just lays the ball in. And you're just like, Jesus, his arms are ridiculous.
Very long.
And then Kawhi, is he human? That's my first question to you. Is Kawhi human?
I think he's human, but I just think he's autistic.
Yeah?
I actually think he's spectrumy.
On the spectrum?
I think so.
He's a weird dude, man.
He says some weird shit. Like I was reading some of the things that his former teammates, like every time he grabs the board, man, he's like, "Yep, the board man gets paid." And it's just like, this is not normal things to say. Like, just say one word phrases over and over again. Like, yep, or now, or things like that. It's like, you're not really a leader. You're just a dude he's the Terminator. Like,
he's not human or something. There's something like, it's kind of strange.
Man. Just reminds me of that dude from America's Got Talent that's like full autistic spaz. And it's like, yeah, I love you. But then sings like friggin' Elton John, and you're like, this isn't real. Like,
this is a different person.
This is a different person.
You know, he gets on the court, no emotion. Like a couple of times, game 1, obviously, we'll start with game 1. They ended up winning that game. Just zero emotion. Like you could see all the Toronto players, which like, it's fucking great. Like we're here. I can't believe, like Kyle Lowry can't believe he's even in the playoffs. Like, how did I get here? This is great. And then Kawhi's just emotionless. And you're like, fuck, this dude's been seeing some shit or something. And he has been around. He's won 2 championships or 1 championship or something like that.
Yeah.
Just emotionless. And then couple that with the fact that he's kind of on a one and done type deal. Yeah. Like, is he going to leave even if they win too? Like I was saying to you, like you were saying to me, he bought a house and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to leave, man. Like, and then a few of the responses he's given as well is like, oh, you know, you'll have to ask the fans if they're happy. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, these guys have never been to the playoffs, man. Of course they're going to be like, no personal adulate, like taking pride in fucking personal adulation.
But I don't think he'd do that in any club.
Exactly. It's just weird, dude.
He's autistic.
It's fucking
Definitely
weird.
Autistic.
So that leads me to my next question. Is it weird watching him just get heaps of fouls? Being a Terminator, showing no emotion, not even trying to flop, he just randomly gets fouls? Or is it harder to watch a guy like Harden who actively tries to get fouls, flails around, tries to sell everything? Like, which one's harder to watch for you?
Harden, because I just hate flopping. That's why I don't like Kyle Lowry. He just flops all over. It's just like flop lord. Kawhi's one of those ones just like, if he didn't score, he got fouled. So they just call it because if he didn't score, he got fouled.
Yeah, he probably got fouled.
It's like, it was like, well, no, it was contact. You go down the other end, Steph Curry gets jammed, and nah, that's all good. Or Draymond gets friggin' munched at the rim. Nah, that's all good. It's just like, oh no, Kawhi didn't score, foul.
Yeah, it must have been a foul. So, I've noticed watching through this series, like he throws his body a lot. Like LeBron was a guy who used to throw his body at people. Like if you were 1-on-1 with him in the lane, more often than not, he'd just drop the shoulder on you, and 280-pound dude, which is you're out of there, and he'd score. And he'd be like, most of the time, he'd just be like, that's just an offensive foul. You can't just bump your guy 5 feet across the lane and just be like, what? And then just lay it in. Like, he does that as well.
Yeah.
He does the same thing. But he also has this jump stop where he jump stops and he can pivot twice and put up a shot. And I noticed, like, Ibaka has that as well. It's obviously there's less of a drive for Ibaka.
Yeah.
But then Siakam seems to not have that. Like, he's finishing when he's got kind of a clear way or some room around the rim is good. But when it's stuffed, he just seems to get into this, I've got to do something, and just will put up this ugly shot. Like
Donovan Mitchell style.
Yeah, the Warriors are like kind of...
You can work Siakam out. You can't work...
A little bit,
You can't work Leonard out.
Nah, he comes from everywhere. And he has that, like, he drives across 45 degrees across the lane. And it looks like he's going to stop and turn, but he puts it up with his left. And you're like, it's just an endless fucking dice roll.
But it's all these like low percentage chalky shots that are just layups for him. It's like, I'm going to drive to the baseline and shoot a contested jumper, and that's like an 80% efficiency.
Yeah.
It's just like, no.
Yeah, what? Or the play breaks down and he's like 22 feet just behind. He'll just stand up and shoot this jump shot with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and it goes in. He's just like, get out of here, man. Van Fleet's doing that as well. He's had a bunch of fucking end of shot clock threes.
He did nothing the whole playoff series in the Eastern Conference. Did nothing.
Nothing. It was terrible.
Terrible. And then all of a sudden he has a kid and shooting 80% from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
It's like, why? You're
and
a
then,
6'1" munchkin. Like,
yeah.
How are you even relevant in this series?
Exactly. And then you look at a guy like Quinn Cook who can't get any calls at all.
Yeah.
Like, there was one last night where he went to drive down the lane. Someone hit him, like, just straight up hit him. He bumped off and, like, passed the ball out to... Like, didn't get the... You're just like, that's a foul. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we... Like, even he kind of went, why is that... What? Okay, I'll just pass it out to Iguodala then. And then Van Fleet just seems to be able to hang off Curry. And you're going... Why? Like, what? Like, why? These two are about the same
the NBA refs have forgot about what they were trying to do this year, which was freedom of movement. It's
remember at the start of the year,
and
it was like freedom of movement. If you touch anyone, it's a foul. And now it's like Curry's like playing with dudes like a fucking cape on his back, carrying two dudes around the entire time. He can't get anything. So it's, I understand. Like, we've seen that with Delhi. Delhi was the same. Back when they won that first championship, he was doing the same thing, but just wearing him like a cape, basically.
Yeah, but that was a legitimate defensive source. But we've seen throughout this whole season is that if you grab someone around a screen, it doesn't matter where, it's called a foul straight away. Whereas this series, they just seem like, nah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's playoff basketball, man.
Yeah, it's playoff basketball.
So that first game, 118-109, it was pretty convincing win for Toronto. I watched a little bit of that. It sucks. Every game has been fucking Monday or Thursday or Friday. And it's like, I can't watch this. I've got a fucking new job. Can't do it. And then the one day we had a public holiday. It was like, NBA, sweet. And then that game ended up being fucking Saturday. So it was on Sunday. It was like, for fucking... And then I was out doing other shit. It was like, God damn it. I haven't been able to watch any of this series. Which is probably good because the Warriors have been playing like trash. There's a bunch of injuries. Then they ended up jamming out that second game in Toronto. Yeah. Where Toronto looked really tired. And that, like, it was a 109-104 game, bar, some Kawhi, some buckets, and then just getting paraded to the free throw line at the end of that game, where I remember saying to you, like, if they want to keep this series close, they just parade him to the line. Yeah. And that game really should have been like a 109-92. You really kind of got blown out there, Toronto, which was a worry. And you kind of look at that and go, Warriors have got exactly what they wanted. They're going to, get to it home. And then Clay gets injured at the end of that game. And that's a big thing that, you've got to turn around for one game and go, shit, that's a huge thing in our defense. Yeah. We've got to work a way around that. And Steph obviously going off in that game. And then they didn't have the defensive end, so they ran up 120 in that game. Like, yeah, it's like you can say Boogie's shit. Like, Boogie hasn't really been that good. And I watch Boogie and I just like, he doesn't work. He's terrible on the perimeter.
Bogut game 3 was the only Warrior to play significant minutes that came away with a plus-minus of 0. In a loss. He played 21 minutes, I think.
Got it here.
Plus-minus of 0. Game 3? Yeah, it was game 3.
Bogut, plus-minus 0, 21 minutes, 3 of 4 from the field. He had 7 rebounds, an assist, and 1 steal.
He altered a lot of shots that game. So he's really relevant in that game. They couldn't get the win. I think Curry dropped 47 that game.
Yeah,
as well,
47 in that game.
And
then look, Draymond, 6 of 14 for like low volume, and it's hard for that team because you can easily just go, oh, well, if Clay's not playing, then he's not getting shots, and then Steph's got to shoot, and then it's hard for these other guys to dial up offense out of that. I find I watch this
players.
team.
They're kind of like
Exactly,
a defensive player. Draymond Green's a defensive player that is also a facilitator, and then none of their centers can score.
None
of the backups can score either.
Nah.
Sean Livingston, his mid-range game is completely gone
disappeared.
to shit. Yeah.
But look at Toronto's so long, man. Like Toronto's this team where you're like, oh, right, they are like OKC from fucking 2015 or whatever. Super long, super aggressive, and powerful. Like we kind of
bit of chub, but Barker's playing.
Yeah.
The best thing they did for that Philly series is put a Barker at the 4. Like that was a really genius coaching move. And then last game he calls a timeout with 3 minutes left when they're up, and he's just like, okay.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. And then like we'll talk about like Nurse has actually coached pretty well in this series. Like
except that one thing that essentially could have won them the series.
But it takes
and you go back to Oracle and you potentially taking your team to a game 7 because it gives Clay time to heal. I think a healthy Clay Thompson, it's a 50-50.
Well, I don't think they lose those 2 games if Clay is really healthy. He didn't look right in game 4.
No.
And it's taken, you look at these scores, 118 in the first game. That was a bit of an outlier. They had shot a lot of free throws in that first game from memory. It was just your natural first game. We want Toronto to win this game because it has to be them winning this game for it to be a series and not a sweep. We don't want to sweep. Like I remember you said sweep and I was like, yeah, I can see that. So that's fair enough. The second game, it looked like they tried so hard to keep Toronto in it. Like, Kawhi to the line. They're out by 10. Kawhi to the line, back to the line. Kawhi back, shoot more free throws, back to 7. 10, 7, 10, 7. Like, it really should have just been like a blowout of a game. Yeah. And then you go, okay, right. But Clay obviously went down. Durant's been out. And then game 3 was where Toronto was like, oh, guys are out. There's actual physical things we can exploit in this team. Like, it's not like 2 teams going at it. They just went, oh, they're one main guy that glues Draymond, and then the rest of the team together defensively is out. Like, Dre, Iggy, and Clay is the 3 glue guys in that team. It's like one of those guys is out. Okay, we'll just go straight at that. And it's Siakam, and Siakam's obviously a really long, hard-to-manage kind of player. Yeah. Like, hard to manage on defense. And that's where they kind of beat them. And then Clay comes back. He didn't look good in game 4. Like, I was just it's bad. Like, and then they played pretty solid in the first half. And then obviously Clay struggled a little bit. Iggy's struggling a little bit. Yeah. And then Draymond kind of hasn't been the same defensive force, but he's able to beat these other teams like Houston and Portland, I was going to say for some reason. Like, he's able to beat them because they're not as good. Whereas this Toronto team has Kawhi's coming at you, and your 3 guys you got to help defend off Ibaka, Gasol, and Siakam, who all present 3 like huge problems type of thing. Whereas these other teams don't really have that. They have, one guy's going to go at Draymond, and he's just got to help off another guy, and that's it. And you're just like, yeah, but you're not going to beat him like that. Like, these guys have 3 legitimate threats, plus they have no center. And when Durant goes down, he's kind of playing like this hybrid center type thing. Like, and all season, it's just like, yeah, well, I know Durant's there. He's kind of not really a power forward yet. He can defend the rim. So they're kind of playing this odd scheme type shit that when Durant goes down, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, we don't have natural things that just go, oh, well, we just switch this, and then that's back together again. It's kind of like, well, fuck, we were doing this weird thing the entire season, and now we've got to have Boogie there. Boogie gets injured against the Clippers, comes back. I'm like, fuck, how is he coming back? How is he coming back from that?
Stem cells,
man. PRP fucking jammed that shit in that hip. I'm like, how the hell does that? And then you watch him and you're like, oof. Like, ooh. It's kind of slow. But then that's how I always remember Boogie, man. It's kind of slow. And everyone's going, oh, put him in post-ups. Like, you need to give him post-up. And you're like, yeah, but this team doesn't play like that.
No. And plus, you're posting up against another 7-footer in Gasol, and Ibaka, if he plays at the power forward, can come on the switch, and you're fucking useless anyway. And Leonard's just hands, just like, oh yeah, there's a hand that takes over my whole head.
So the defensively, Toronto have been really good. Second ever mic fall. That's interesting. That game 3, you know, it was a good first half. Game 4, a good first half from the Warriors. And it felt pretty solid. And then just Kawhi in the third quarter just went fucking ham. And you always go, man, if Kawhi goes ham, they're going to fucking struggle here. Yeah. And yeah, he did. He took the game away. They could never get it back in there. And then obviously going into that game 5, KD comes back. So what was, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fucked was Toronto cheering him getting injured again?
That was
a bit fucked.
Yeah, that was a bit fucked. Just slightly. But you have to give kudos to the players, except Kawhi, who didn't do anything. But the other players like, man, guys, stop clapping. This is bad.
And then...
Because all they will be known as the team that beat a defeated an injury-prone Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
And if they lose, then they're going to be the team that loses to an injury-prone Golden State Warriors. So really, there's no way to win this series.
It's kind of high stakes. But for them, it doesn't matter. Like, Toronto, it's like, fuck it. We'll probably never get here. If Kawhi leaves even if they win, like, they're not getting back to the champion. Like, he basically dragged them to the... Like, that's been the big thing in this series.
That if he got called travel for that... He quite travels so much.
Yeah, he travels heaps, man. Just uncalled travels. Bodies guys. But because... Like, this is the thing. Because he's a Terminator, very low-key personality, doesn't moan, doesn't complain, doesn't whine. He flops a little bit too, I've noticed. He had one on Curry where Curry, like, went to box him out. And he just, like, threw himself backwards. And I'm just going, that's very un-Kawhi. But I don't know if I noticed that because, like, it's Kawhi and you notice that shit when he does something like that.
Yeah.
And if you take him out of that, I look at the rest of their team and go, you were all just so, like, I can't believe we're here, man. This is great. And in a couple of these games have been decided by them just being like, fuck it, let's just have a crack. And a couple of these games they've just fallen over from it. Really. Yeah. Like, the last game, obviously, KD comes back, re-injures that quad again. Like,
calf,
quad, calf. Fuck, I called it an ankle before. I'm all over the place. It's the coverage of all of that shit been weird to you? As someone who's not, like, a Warriors fan and doesn't follow it properly?
It's a little bit like, it's a little bit over the top. And just like, cause I suppose because everyone is expecting him to move, and it's just like, Stephen A. Smith can't talk about how he's going to the Knicks anymore. They've got nothing to talk about because they have no idea, essentially, like the biggest free agent signing of the summer, and they have nothing to talk about for the next 4 weeks now because really, who's going to take... He's out for a year. Like, that's it. He's done for a year. He's snapped his Achilles. He's done for 12 months.
Yeah.
So he's out to the next playoff finals. So he's not going to be playing NBA basketball next season.
Yeah,
realistically.
man. It's huge.
So
it's massive repercussions for the
does some team
free agency.
pick him up?
I think you do. Like, I think you just go, fuck it, man. Yeah. 5 year. If you want to sign a 4-year or 5-year deal, bang.
Of course.
I think you do because
he's completely irrelevant next season. And so the Nets are irrelevant for another year. The Nets are irrelevant for another year.
It's weird.
Kyrie
it's a tough thing, eh?
Kyrie
You got to
doesn't
just
have
gamble
his
on
partner. Like, the whole system is thrown out.
I know. And then Golden State really want to take that back. They're taking basically a full max salary for nothing.
No.
And then they're already, like, so top heavy and their fucking bench is so all over the place that, like, they need to take his money if he leaves and be like 3 more dudes who are reliable and plug them into this team. Well, I mean, and it's like, okay, they're back again.
Is this Iggy's last year on contract?
I think he's got one after this.
Is this
and I think Livingston might be one more after this, or this might be his last year.
Yeah, they need to get rid
exactly. Like, it's a mess, man. Like, for both, like, for wherever KD goes, that's a potential mess. But if he stays at the Warriors, then it's got the potential to just mess them up even more. And if they don't win the title, I don't see the point of him staying.
No.
I mean, it's going to look bad, but what's the point of him staying? Like, if they don't win a title, that's the perfect thing to just be like, you know, now that he's been injured, sorry, boys, like, I got injured, it sucks, I'm out. You know, the injuries fucked me up, I'm out. Like, he's got an easy way to leave. But at the same time, like, he's got an actual, like, and proper glue thing to keep him there.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's kind of just... it's going to nuke their ability to fucking rotate the roster and fix little things.
Yeah.
But,
look,
I don't know. It's just made this whole series just weird. Like, even the coverage in the lead up, like, is he going to play? It's game 1. There's 20 minutes to go. He farted in the locker room. Like, Yeah, I don't care. Like, fuck. Like, he's not playing. Like, and then, he dribbled a ball for 20 seconds and then went and had a drink, everyone. And you're like, why are we getting up to, like, round-the-clock updates on what he's fucking doing all day? And then all the like, the talk shows and that, like, do you feel like they're kind of poisoning the fucking narratives of the game a little bit?
It's becoming more about the injuries than about the actual game itself.
Just about the shit that goes on.
Instead of actually enjoying the NBA Finals, they're more worried about talking about what's happening next season in the free agency. That's all they're talking. It's not even like Toronto's gone to their first finals. The Warriors are like the dynastic team that's completely injured and still somehow managed to pull out a 106, 105 win and take it to game 6 at home. It's all about Kevin Durant's injury, or it's all about where's Kyrie going, or it's all about is Kawhi stay, instead of like just enjoy the fucking moment. Yeah, no, like I feel like they're just, or it's like Steph Curry can't do it, man. He can't do it. Like he's not going to be like, drops 47 and wow, Steph Curry's mad. Like how great is he, man? I'm like 2 days ago you were saying he couldn't do it and he's rubbish. Like what do you? And then 2 days later it's like you can't do it, man. See, I said it. I've been saying it all along. He can't do it. I never said he was good. But he's great. He's the greatest player ever. I never said he was shit. And I'm like there's so many of these now. There's so many of these guys that just go from 100 to 0 to 100 to 0 to 100. Like I feel like it's changing the way fans view the game. Like it makes it like. I want to say part of why Toronto got real filthy and like waved him off and booed him and shit is because of that. Like the animosity thing where instead of just being like, we're here, it's great, we understand what's happening in the game, like it's becoming real tribal and animalistic instead. So I can understand like being like, suck shit, you tried to come back, now you're out for the series, like, yeah, fuck off type thing. I understand that, but at the same time, like, a little bit of more of a clued up, like self-reflective fan base might go, that sucks, man. That sucks for you. We kind of feel like it doesn't take the players are more connected to the lifeblood of the game than the fans. Like it's kind of weird. Does that not feel weird to you? It is weird. It's for me, it's just like they're not even enjoying the final series. It's just all about what ifs. Don't speculate. Just enjoy the moment. But this is why they get paid. I think it's more interesting than the finals sometimes. Where players are going. Like, what's happening in the offseason.
I want to know what this guy's saying about this particular thing.
Trade Ben Simmons. You need to build around Joel Embiid. What team since Shaq has won a fucking championship building around a center? What has? No one. Not one team. And even Shaq had Kobe. Like, it's not, not one team is one doing that. So it's all just speculation. It's all just driving the media hype.
And the hype has gotten the hype for me has made this series weird, and I think it's probably KD's injury and KD coming back. Like it felt very just come on, man, come back. And then he gets injured again and everyone goes, oh, why did he come back? And it's like, you've just been baying for his blood for fucking 2 weeks, yelling, why isn't he coming back? What's he doing? What the fuck? And now you're like, oh, maybe they shouldn't have brought him back. Like, maybe the Warriors are fucked because they brought him back. Like, I'm just like, you guys are just ruthless and relentless, man. It's brutal. And it overshadows the game. So it was a good game yesterday. It was a weird, it's been a weird series, eh?
Some weird, bizarre calls down the stretch and not referring and not. Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to Game 6. I think that's whoever wins Game 6 wins the series.
Well,
I think if the Warriors pull out Game 6, they'll take it in 7. I think the Raptors will fold at home, like Kyle Lowry choked on the final shot of that game.
Oh, Draymond blocked that shot though.
Yeah.
And if you had to go, you know what, my guy to win this game is Kyle Lowry, would you be like, I'm putting money down on that? Or would you be like, I'm going to put my money back in my pocket?
I'm going to put my money back
I'll just watch this.
Yeah, and I'll watch this just unfold as it's planned to be.
And the big equalizer really has been Gasol can shoot the 3. Ibaka can shoot a 3 or step into a mid-range. Siakam has not shot the 3 very well at all. And has kind of looked a bit up and down, yet still provides a danger where you're like, fuck, I have to respect this guy. I can't just let him do this and that. I can't just let him do whatever he wants to do because that's going to end up bad. Like Siakam here, shooting 48%, shooting 13% from 3. So they're like, shoot as many 3s as you want, Pascal. You enjoy that. Shoot more. How many 3s has he taken? 15. He's 2 of 15 in the series. But 19 assists, 34 rebounds, not too bad. Still their second highest point scorer behind. But Kyle Lowry, are you like, yeah, sweet, I like Kyle Lowry, I want him in crunch time in this team, or are you like, nah, I'm good?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels like if Kawhi is not doing it, then really it's a dice. Like if Kawhi's doing it, you're like, oh fuck, I'm putting money down on this. I want to see this happen. But if he's not doing it, you're kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I fancy Toronto. So the big thing is how bizarre. Like Kawhi is a Terminator with no emotion. Seems to have no emotional investment in this.
No.
But is the best player, and it's like the focal point. And you're watching it just going, it's surreal, man. It's a weird thing. Like, he's not G'ing the crowd up. He's not being like, woo, like, this is great. You know, it's weird to me, man. But
Yeah.
Van Fleet obviously just seems to be able to grab dudes and shoot threes late in shot clocks. He's been playing pretty good. Danny Green's been a bit feast and famine.
Yeah, he shot 6 from 8 the other night as well. He's one of those guys that can shoot the 3-ball, but then just goes quiet.
Only 44 points in this series on 12 of 33 from 3, 16 of 41. So it's weird, man. It's just this has been just such a strange series.
Danny Green's a good defensive player as well, though.
But yeah, and he's doing a lot of work on Curry as well, like in terms of shooting the ball, like showing up in where Curry is defending shooters type of situations. Bogut, obviously, 20 minutes in, we haven't even talked about Bogut yet. 42 minutes so far in the series.
Had an impact game 3. That was about it.
And then, you know, shooting 85% around the rim, that's not too bad. He's only got 12 points, so he's had 6 of 7.
Which is pretty. It's still efficient.
It still feels like get more Bogut. How good's it going to be? And then eventually, when you get more Bogut, you're going to get like take him out. Like I don't want that. Like it's how it feels.
I don't know if you can play like he did in game 3. I think he can make a real difference.
Well, at home, now that Looney's kind of had that injury, it looks like he might be out. He says he's going to play, but eventually down the stretch, Warriors want to go to the death lineup, which doesn't have a big man in it. And like it was Cousins, and then fucking Cousins had like 2 offensive goaltendings. The game was almost decided on a shitty fucking moving screen. Like that's bad. That's a bad look for the NBA when the refs are just like 30 seconds to go, have a really dodgy screen call just to get the other team a chance to win the game. I was like, man, do we need that? I don't think, but he's transplanted. Boogie is transplanted into a team of really high IQ, high caliber, low ego stars, and just being like, yeah, man, I'm one of these guys too. And you're like, no, you're not DeMarcus. You're DeMarcus Cousins. Like you're really not. You're like, you're at the party, but you're not the same as these guys. So it's understandable, man. And he's playing injured. Like people are like, oh man, what's happened to Boogie? Like I'm like, that's fucking Boogie. Like you just don't know what you're gonna get from him. Like it's a miracle that you're even getting minutes from him at the moment. Like he's come back from this fucking injury. Quinn Cook's giving him some alright minutes, but Looney really is the big problem. He's their best perimeter and downhill defender. Once you take him away, Cousins and Bogut on the perimeter, it's like, oh no,
non-existent.
No thanks.
Yeah.
And then Clay, obviously at the end of that game, it went Clay, Curry, Clay, Curry, Clay. And they were all threes, and that was pretty much what won them the game.
Yeah.
Clay's defense too. With about 2 minutes to go, after they called that timeout, Dre had 5 fouls. I think he got his 5th foul, and he basically said to, like it's on the footage, says to Clay, like, you're on Kawhi, I've got 5. And then Kawhi didn't do anything for the rest of that game, man. So he like clamped him up. Remember that that Aussie game in the World Cup, in the Olympics, where it was like a really open game until the last 3 minutes, and Klay Thompson just shut Patty Mills down. It was just like, Klay, just get on Patty Mills. And then it was like we couldn't score at all.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of the game, and Klay just went, yeah, I'm one of the best defenders in the world. Thanks, see you later. So I wonder if they go to a lot of, like Klay looked like Klay, and you're like, oh, that's Klay. That's what he does. He shuts guys down. And they didn't have that in the 2 games, you know, at Oakland. So, you know, maybe they go to Oakland this game and the same thing, like they're better. Clay's a better defender, and he glues the team together. Iggy's playing on one leg. He's struggling. Draymond's kind of struggling with 3 guys that are fucking...
Chubber than he is.
Well, have length, can shoot, and it's presenting 3 arguments at him as opposed to, one guy drive and he's standing there and he can help off him.
Yeah.
Like it's 3 different things. He's got to look out for the shot, look out for the drive. There's another guy on the weak side. He's got to be thinking, like he's got to plan 3 moves ahead. And you can tell it's kind of unraveling a little bit for him. But yeah, hopefully they give Oakland a better send-off than that fucking shitty game 4. Like that was just awful. It was an awful game. You know, Oakland has this great run of, or like this barren spell of like, I think like 20 years without fucking anything, like rubbish team, never finishing the playoffs. Suddenly they get 5 or 6 years in the playoffs to end like that.
Yeah.
Just losing and then losing a series 4-1 would have just been like, that's pretty lame. So at least they get a chance to try and end it on their home floor.
Yeah.
With something better, redemption, and then going to game 7. But I think Toronto is just going to swing. They got a free swing at this game. It's like, whatever, we got a free swing. We'll just fucking come out and try and, bully them and win like that. Like they did in game 3, they did the same thing. But yeah, I've just been shitting on for the last half hour about the Warriors. So.
You have. Well, it's good.
Well, I just wanted more Bogut, but every time he's on the floor, I'm still just like, less Bogut, man. I love him. But I just don't think he's like if he had played a full season and was match fit, maybe it might. Or that's how they played all the time with Bogut at center.
Yeah, but
that's their style. But it's kind of like he's got to fit into these situations, and they've kind of been playing this hybrid center with Durant, shot blocker thing, and there's the rotations are off, and his perimeter defense is just not as good as it was in the NBL this season. It's hard to watch, man.
It is,
but
we'll see.
Well, we'll see.
Game 6.
Game 6. When is that? Friday?
Yes.
And then fucking game 7 Monday. Friday, Monday again, man. You bastards.
Indeed. All right, guys. We'll bring you all the wrap up afterwards and all news relating to Aussies in the Summer League post things. So please stay tuned. We'll get back on it. We're going to try some new IT stuff, see if that'll work out. But like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on Aussies Take Over the NBA on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, obviously, where we stream all our videos now.
Yep.
Fuck Facebook. And yeah, we're doing it.
Except for the King's Dime, on the King's Dime.
Yeah, on the King's Dime.
A Sydney Kings podcast.
Yeah, we love Sydney Kings, not Facebook. Fuck Facebook. All right, peace out, guys.
All right, take it easy, peeps. See ya.